Calling in from Paris is Notah Begay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Rich. Great to be on.
Thank you. So we have a few minutes with you here. Let's jump right into it. What happened to the Americans in the afternoon? Was it what did they serve for lunch, I guess, is my question.
Whatever it is, they shouldn't serve it tomorrow because the Europeans went out and served some humble pie in the afternoon, and it was a tough session for the Americans, and they just got outplayed, and they got outplayed, and then they made a lot of mistakes. I think the Europeans won, I believe, close to 30 holes, and the Americans only won about 9. So
yeah,
it was a really lopsided afternoon.
It was a lopsided afternoon. So I guess the question, let's take it one at a time. The fact that Tiger and Patrick Reed, I just love that pairing just on paper. It did not bear out towards the end. It was the only match that they lost in the morning, and then no Tiger at all in the afternoon. Is that something that Tiger wanted? What do you think about Tiger's day, Notah?
Well, I think that Captain Furyk got caught sort of wanting to get his players out, getting everybody out, and to try and get the rookies out to get a feel for the Ryder Cup, and he had to send DeChambeau out, and Mickelson and DeChambeau pairing developed sort of early in the week, and so it was a tough position to be in, and you put these guys out and you look at sort of who they are as players, and you hope that they can sort of elevate their play to accommodate the situation, and that just wasn't the case. And so I think Tiger was never going to play all 5 matches, just simply not able to have that type of endurance anymore. So he had to sit out at some point, and I guess Jim Furyk thought this afternoon was the best place to sit him.
So Notah Begay here on the Rich Eisen Show. What is Furyk's plan for the weekend? Best you can tell here, down 2 now.
Well, I think that as far as the 4-ball session goes, which will be the first session tomorrow, Saturday morning, you're going to see Dustin Johnson and Ricky Fowler go out again. You're going to see Brooks Koepka and Tony Finau go out again. I think he may try the Reed Woods pairing one more time. And then I think that with the success that Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas had, you're going to see a really similar lineup to what you saw today because they had so much success. But come foursomes, they need to do something. They need to switch those pairings up. They need to sort of try and figure out some better combinations because the Americans just didn't hit any fairways. I mean, I was with the Thomas Spieth match against Molinari and Tommy Fleetwood, and that's just a tough tandem. The Europeans have a good tandem in those two guys, and so they're pretty accurate off the tee, and they're good iron players. Tommy Fleetwood's a much better putter than Francesco Molinari, but Molinari came in with a couple key putts today that the Americans were really never in that match, and so it's really tough to come back in the foursomes format, the alternate shot format, when you get down early.
Notah Begay, the third here from the Golf Channel. And Notah, you've been in Tiger's circle for a long time. I'm wondering if you can give voice to somebody who's been in that circle, what it was like to watch Tiger win in Atlanta and then show up triumphantly to a Ryder Cup once again.
It was like I look back to sort of the dark times, and that first time I walked into his house after the first surgery, and he literally couldn't get up from out of where he was sitting without some assistance, and I really thought it was a tough thing for me to process because this was the greatest athlete that ever swung a golf club. He's done things in my sport where I had achieved some nice things as well, but things that were unfathomable and records that'll never be broken. And I thought that the end was a consideration. And then to see all the work, overcoming the chipping yips, if you want to call them that, nobody does that. And so he overcame that, and he found a way to develop a swing that conformed with all of the limitations that his surgeries had provided. I mean, with presented to him with his body and his hip and his low back and his rotation, and there's just so many things that he had to change. And none of us will ever know the countless hours that he spent trying to make those adjustments just so he could put a game together, so he could piece a game together. And then you piece a game together and you go out and you don't know if it's going to hold up. And you don't know if your mind's going to hold up. And can he play 15 to 20 events? And so you saw the culmination of all that in terms of he shot the low round early, but he also did that the previous week at the BMW Championship. But then he just fell further back from the lead as the week progressed. Well, the Tour Championship, he was able to hang in there, and there were certain parts of his game that kept him in there, and those were all things that he built within the last year. And you go back even 13 months ago, him and I were working at the President's Cup. He was the assistant captain, and I was on the support team for the American side. He didn't know if he was going to play. And that's 13 months ago, and now he's the 11th ranked player in the world. I mean, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen from a personal standpoint an athlete achieve.
Notah, thanks for the call from Paris. We look forward to the continuing coverage on Golf Channel starting at Saturday at the ripe time of 2 a.m. Eastern right here in the States.
Set your alarm clock.
Set the alarm clock. Notah, thanks for the call. Enjoy Paris, obviously. We'll chat soon.
All right, thanks, Rich.
That's Notah Begay III from the Golf Channel.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.